Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to open the last session and the last day, so the final session for iResidences, which was conducted together with our partners from European University, UDRIS. Lisa?
Hello.
So, yes, in the beginning of this week, on Monday, our students, 6 students from different countries, were given a challenge from our stakeholders. And we'll see how it goes, how they performed together with our mentors. And we will see their final presentation for Startup Village concept, and then our stakeholders will ask questions and give their feedback. And of course, in the end, we will have an open discussion about the concept and how it is possible to introduce it not only in Valmiera municipality, but also in other European towns and municipalities.
Yeah, so before we hand over to our students, we shortly want to introduce them. So as Alvis already mentioned, we had 6 students coming from 6 different universities here since Monday working on the topic. So we have Marius from Germany. He has a background in business and economics. We have Andras from Hungary. He is a specialist for smart cities. We have Maria from Romania. She's an architect student. We have Tatiana from Austria. She's also a specialist in economics and in media management. Then I will shortly change. Sorry. And then we have Alexandra from Portugal. She is doing her master's in communication and journalism, but she also has experience at the local incubator. And then Dace here from Latvia, who is an expert on food marketing and who introduced us also a lot to Latvian food. So we are really happy to have all 6 of you on board. And we hand over now to the students to present what they have been working over the last 5 days. Thank you.
So, hi everyone, thank you for the very nice introductions. So, as Lisa already mentioned, we are the iResidences student team. And on Monday, we received the task to think about how a startup village could attract talent. So the task was very open for us, and this is why we decided to break it down and think about what a kind of perfect startup village would look like. And you can see here our process of brainstorming, but now we want to show you our results about a kind of perfect startup village. And to do so, we start with a definition and our understanding of a startup village, and then we present you the concept, including how it will finance or could be financed, and at the end we will conclude.
Yes, but the European Union already knows how the startup village looks like. But I can assure you that these residents didn't read official definition, but you can do it now and you can compare it to theirs. So according to European Union or European Commission idea, this is a place or a network of small places that embraces innovation and ambitious entrepreneurship as a way to unlock development potential and support well-being in rural areas. So it's all about us, all about what we had to do. Like I said, we didn't read this definition before yesterday. So our startup village, we came up with ideas and we selected the final, or what we all agreed on, that it's about the tree. Of course, it's green, it's growing, it has some good roots, And here you can read the keywords that are all about this startup village in our ideal world. So this is about shared resources. It's all about exact location and the area. Of course, for sure, it's about the networking and collaboration. Definitely, it has a meaning of co-working spaces and incubators. And we couldn't survive, or this startup village couldn't survive without mentorship. And it requires a supportive ecosystem. We see this as a good community with like-minded individuals, and we especially made this error so that it can be also wrong, or it doesn't have to be in the right language. It should be unique. And it has to have accelerators and creativity to be able to grow and develop. And last but not least, and it's all about entrepreneurs. So this is our definition.
So firstly, we talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of the villages compared to the big cities. Like living and working in cities has its advantages, as you can see. What villages should focus on is the weaknesses as much as possible by using focuses on highlighting its strengths and opportunities that you can see here. This is how we brainstormed our concept, which I want to show you now. The sun represents the entrepreneurship that are the customers of the startup village, and therefore should be in the middle of the universe. Like, we decide to attribute a planet to each institution. Keep in mind that they are all connected to each other, and how the planets orbit around the sun in the solar system in a flexible way, connected it to the different stages that a startup needs to develop their idea.
So now I have the honor to introduce you the education campus. One of the tasks from Yuri was to think about the education and especially the university. What is the role of the university in our village? And we thought about access and knowledge and the role of the universities. So we created a new building, a new area. That means you have all knowledge from everywhere in one building or in one area. That means you begin with the kindergarten and you go to middle school, to high school, bachelor, master, university. You have everything in one area. It's also very good to know that the parents who work in the startups can bring their family, their kids there, and they are in good hands. That means we have good teachers, we have good education, they get food, they have free time for education, and also can join some presentation groups and some workshops. And it's very important for us to underline that they get the access to critical thinking, to entrepreneur soft skills, and were developed. So we want that the people grow in our education campus, that they know everything about entrepreneurship. So we didn't thought about to separate it like it is nowadays. You go to middle school, to high school, and these things. And at the beginning we thought about that students have access to entrepreneurship. So we now explode the change in our mind, so you have access everywhere to the knowledge, what is very important.
Next, we reflected about the incubator role and how an incubator should look, since basically the incubator is the head of the entrepreneurial part in a startup village. So we reflected about a few topics that we consider important to be present in order to allow the entrepreneur to develop their idea with every facility and tools that are needed. So we talked about agents, having agents that help the entrepreneurs as an intermediate part to connect them to investors, to connect them to mentors, to connect them to knowledge, to connect them to every other part that they need. And this agent would be someone that could actually help the entrepreneur know in which stage this entrepreneur is and how to go to another stage. What is the next step? Then we reflect about the mentors as a core in the incubators, because it's all about mentorship. It's all about getting the specific knowledge that we need to develop our ideas. So where would we get those mentors? From the expertise of the universities, from the expertise of people already running their companies that have passed through that journey. And then we thought, okay, we have mentors in each place that we want to implement the Startup Village model, but why can't we go further and think about virtual reality mentors? Why can't we think about not as a substitution, but actually as a complementary mode to bring the expertise needed to give the entrepreneurs more access to other mentors, to more mentors, to better ones in the specific areas that they need help. Then we think that an incubator, as an important part of the entrepreneurial mindset of that village, needs to have a consulting and advisory department, because needs to be prepared to deal with the questions that an entrepreneur has, specific questions that an entrepreneur has that are sometimes difficult for an entrepreneur to solve. For example, intellectual property. For example, taxing, law, finances, marketing. Those are all things that are very important in the development of an idea, and it needs to be part of the tasks of an incubator as well. Then we have chatbots, because it will optimize the service of an incubator as well.
Then a startup village should also provide a kind of relaxing area. As you know, physical activity helps to be creative, stay concentrated and happy, of course. So a kind of perfect startup village should provide a relaxing area that also can be an event area for different kinds of international events, such as competitions, festivals, boot camps, hackathons, and so on. And on the pictures you can see an example of Vienna. Near the city hall we have a relaxing area, and on a regular basis there are different kinds of events, such as the Christmas market or ice rink in winter or film festivals in the summer. Then our startup village also provides a market space for open innovation, where the companies and entrepreneurs can present their products and services to the customers and investors and get feedback from them. And this would also encourage entrepreneurial thinking and networking in general.
And the first question: what is the most fundamental factors in including the economic development of settlements, and why exactly? In the last century, some Hungarian geographers, scientists summarize. They invited into two main parts: natural and non-natural factors. Everything is connected with everything. Businessmen and entrepreneurs, these factors must be also met during the design process. One of the least, we can change our natural factors, but the most rapidly changing are non-natural factors. We can change the political systems, the social, the economic, and the technical conditions. What are the most important things that must further develop? The Hungarian proverb says, what are the most important for a war? Pénz, paripa, fegyver. Money, horse, gun. So now converting these words for the startup village. Money, innovation, incubator. If we have these, we are the winners. A startup village or municipality, it's one of the modern approaches to the rural upliftment of today. Combines academic and business life. And what belongs here? So the smart green perception, so use renewable energy source, sun, wind, water, biomass, geothermal, the circular economy, the waste management, and the smart village solutions. And the other should involve IT technology, also should a good public transport, for example, if we have plus special event as well. And online and offline method that give information about the village happening. So man and humans' everyday life, cultural festivals, and etc. And my last thought, businessmen and manager must announce, we are the best place.
So now it's getting excited. We're talking about the financing. Now, in our village, we thought about, the village is like a company, and we need a CEO, we need a head of. In our thinking, it has to be the incubator with all his people and his thinkings. Next slide, please. Now I would like to introduce you the relationship between the startups and the incubator. First of all, it's like in the normal ecosystem, the startups and entrepreneurs have to pay taxes. And we would like that the companies, the startups, developed to stock exchange listed companies, and they are offering pre-access to the stocks for the incubator. So the incubator can also invest and get some money and have also a deep motivation that the startup is getting successful, because you can earn money with selling successful stocks. Yeah, the third point is shared patents and trademarks. That means all ideas, all trademarks, all patents which are created in our startup village are also shared with the incubator. So there is a link between both, and we'd want to secure that the startups, when they grow up and be successful, that they don't leave our village. So it's not like a chain in the prison. We want to tell it like a relationship between startups and incubators. And to get more access to the CEO of the startups and to the entrepreneurs, we want that the startups provide a place or a seat in the executive board. Now, the other way around, the incubator offers knowledge transfer and consulting, of course, because they have a deep interest that the startups are successful. And the startup village is also something like a test field where you can offer your products, your services, and all these things. And the third point is it's not a prison. So if an entrepreneur says, I'm fine with that topic, I want to develop myself, I want to leave, or I want to grow up and do something else, he or she has also the right to buy the trademarks and the patents back. Now, we want access to the financial part. That means all people, countries and groups have an access to the incubator for the financing. The reason is that the incubator knows which startups are there in the village. That means they have the knowledge, and knowledge means trust. It's very important that you have trust in your innovations, and the incubator is somewhat very close and linked into the funding access and also to the incubators because of the seeds and stocks and these things. So it's like an ecosystem. The next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. The market. Now we are earning money. We sell our products, we're offering them with licensing from the incubator, and the market gives money back. So because we have the patents and trademarks, we can also offering licensing. The next slide. We don't want to divide between the incubator and to the startups. So the startups has, of course, the right to sell their own products and earn the money from the market, and also with products and services and licenses. That's our financing concept.
In a way to summarize some of our conclusions, we also want to highlight the need for specialization. That was something that we reflected for a long time, because we wanted to understand if the startup village should be a concept, a general concept, or maybe a specialized concept. Because, for example, Valmiera has a lot of potential in wood, furniture, and even with the sports facilities that they offer to their athletes. Why not invest on it? Because we think that when we take the geographic potential, the cultural potential of each area, of each region, and we invest on it, we can attract the right entrepreneurs, and we also can attract the right investors to this region. And that is something that we can work on it. Next, we reflect about something that we think that it's a very important key in implementing a startup village, that is communication. Communication is the key, because we don't think that the problem, the focus should be in what kind of facilities do we need to implement a startup village. We think that the focus should be on what kind of way can we use to promote the facilities that we have to make the entrepreneurs fix their lives here and work here, invest here, and create their startups here. Because you already have the facilities, and in each region of from where we came from, we already have facilities that are needed to implement a startup village. So what can we do to communicate those facilities in order to fix entrepreneurs here? And then we reflect on this question. So we're giving you some main keywords about how can you create a startup village, or what kind of things we consider important in creating a startup village. But would this work in our countries? Would this model be could this model be applied to our cities? And the answer is, if it's exactly the same to Valmiera, probably not. But if it's a general model that we can apply to each cities, then yes, we can apply it. Because we need to have that two things that we mentioned before, a strategy based on a target group that needs to be different to which place we're applying, to every place that we're applying this startup village, but also the specialization will be different as well, because we have geographic and cultural potential different than in every city. And then another thing that we want to make you reflect about is actually the importance of networking, because we think that a startup village can become more stronger and can become more powerful when understands the importance of connecting other villages, when understands the importance of sharing resources and actually be part of an international, a big startup village. And that is the end of our presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for creative slides, for creative approach. Now I will introduce our stakeholders, Liga from Development Agency, Valmiera Development Agency, Liga Vecā, and Juris Čeič, Business Incubator Manager. So you can, Juris, maybe take my place. And now you are given 15 minutes time for questions. Not feedback yet.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you all for the work. I think you've done a fantastic job. Okay, about the questions. How this planetarium refers to village. Okay, that's not the main question. If I'm a startup or have an idea, where do I go? Where is my first stop on the startup village? I didn't get it like from presentation.
Maybe I can say some words and you can. Yes. So for us, it's also part of the communication thing. So maybe you can decide on your own, but the most important thing is to communicate where to go first. And we thought about the idea to implement kind of agents, so that startups and companies, entrepreneurs, have one contact person that they could call, like maybe even like kind of call center. So they have one person to contact, and this person tell them, okay, you are obviously in this stage, you have to go here and you have to go there, and you find this person or this advisory here and there. So that is what we thought about.
Thank you from my side as well. Thank you very much for the presentation and for this week, and from the view from the outside, what we are intending and trying to do. My question will be a little bit related to the Juris question, and it's about, we asked for the role of the university, and you presented that it's like education campus, everything together, but specifically in this startup system, what will be the exact role of the university? Because you presented that the incubator will be the leading partner who will manage all this startup village ecosystem.
So thank you. Thank you for the question. Yes, I introduced the system because we thought it's an area where you have all the knowledge. That means it's about knowledge transfer. The university has the task to give the knowledge to the people. It's also like a school system, and the university offers something like labs where you can test your products. Depends on the startup and also on the products. Maybe in laboratory. Excuse me, maybe in labs when you do something in the area of chemistry where you want to check something. So they are offering the instruments, something like that, because it depends on the product. Yeah, and they are also, their task is also to do some workshops where you can develop the people, and the people is the main topic, because you are offering courses maybe about a presentation or where you can develop soft skills, and everyone has access. It's not important if you do your bachelor degree or you are 14 years old and you are in the middle school. So yeah, the university is a part of that whole building, of the whole concept, and it's all about access to get knowledge, to develop and grow the kids to entrepreneurs. And what I want to underline is the critical thinking about the status quo, that they implement this, to think about what we are doing now, can we do it better, and something in this area.
Can I just add something as well? We reflected about developing the entrepreneurial skills as well, because that's also very important during their journey from the academic years. And we believe that not only the university, but actually the education system in every area should contribute to actually develop that entrepreneurial thinking, that entrepreneurial skills that are so needed to become an entrepreneur, but also so needed to become a collaborator in every job and every company. So we think that education has this paper as well.
And then a little bit continuing this question, you presented the educational campus. We are talking about Startup Village, and in the first slides you presented that the advantage of the villages are big territory, there is not very compact living together. Does it mean that you are proposing us to somehow centralize the education thing in some compact area, in this case, or something like that? Did we understand correctly? Because you mentioned starting from kindergartens and so on.
Of course, it depends on the size of the village. That's a very good question. I have to think about it, because when we saw at the beginning the draft of the village, when I think about the village, it's not a big city like a main capital. So I think it's, from my point of view now, it will be not so difficult to travel to the education campus. So it depends on the size. Is maybe that the answer a little bit on your question? Or maybe give me a second chance.
And we also reflected about not having all in one space, but developing that in the curriculum, because it's also very important that we have contact with entrepreneurial thinking and entrepreneurial skills in the curriculum. So that would be also a solution, not to concentrate everything in only one space.
Okay. One more thing in the presentation you said about this beautiful place in Vienna, and is this refers that you think that the startup village like a physical place, and that's the startup village, or still it is not only ecosystem but digital village? As I presented it in a challenge, it's like I present this as a digital village, and then you are talking about the actual places and actual resting places and so on.
We think the best is to use both. So it's a physical area, of course, but also kind of a digital world. So using the advantages of both.
And I also want to add to that idea. We also thought about, can we connect, as my colleague mentioned before, think about, we come from different countries and we have a startup village in our countries and they are connected. And that will be on a virtual space, so you also get access from your country, from your home, to the knowledge and to the investors for other countries. So it's maybe in higher level of that, to get connected to each other. Like a European entrepreneur village.
As you mentioned, that the incubators should be the lead partners in this whenever space system or a startup village system. Then can you elaborate a little bit more on that maybe management system needed for that kind of startup village? How many people or what competencies or what are the main thing, how to manage this kind of system to work, because as in challenge we mentioned that each of those players have their own aims, have their own functions, and then how to work that in one system that should be managed somehow.
Yes, I can answer the question. We thought about the startup village as like you need something like a mayor, but that's not enough. We need more people, and like an executive board, and they are very specialized in their topics. So you need on the one hand like a CEO person, and I thought when I would be the mayor of the village, what do I need in the executive board? For example, from my personal point of view, I want the big investors really next to my side. So I think about the innovation people from Europe, that they see what I'm doing here in my startup village. And I also thought about my country, that I put somebody from the German government, from the innovation area next to me. So they have something like seats also in my executive board. And then we thought about, imagine you have like a second Silicon Valley. You need some people who are very well educated in the area of IT. If you want it more general, it will be difficult because you need maybe people who are very well educated in IT or in food or something else. So it depends on the structure. But in general, I think you need somebody or an executive board of different people. And what I first wrote down was that the people have to understand how important it is to develop things and to ask about the status quo, what we think about, what we can do better to develop. So there's not the profit in the first place. It's more about changing and developing. So it's like they have to have it in their DNA.
Do we have more time for questions? Yes? Fast question. We are mentors. You mentioned as a new idea how to deal with some things. What you meant by VR mentors, can you explain a little bit more? Whether it's like digital consultations or it is like virtual reality coming in some kind of already content making processes as virtual assistants or something like that?
Yeah, it was just again the idea to use the advantages of physical and digital. So it's not a supplement to the physical mentors at the place. It's just about to have access to even more mentors and maybe save time and money for traveling, which also would be
Just
more
like,
sustainable.
online mentorship.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
About the financial concept, I love the way you presented it. It was, I think that there's a lot of interesting ideas. I have a question how it fits to time frame, because a lot of things you presented makes money in the longer term. So there should be some start financing to actually have this business model to work. And it's quite a long-standing investment. A lot of things are getting money back only from a longer time. So maybe how to cover this first period when there is not such a system working.
Yeah, that's a very good and important question. It depends on when you start your startup village, like on a green floor. It's different when you compare it if you have already buildings or something else. So it's a really hard topic, and it's hard to say it in 3 sentences or bullet points. But when you think about to implement it in your city, in your country, I think you need help from the government and also from the, I don't know the English term, I'm sorry, but there are also something like communities of the different areas, like from the community of the toolers who support it and something like that. So you work like a team, and I think that will be difficult, but I think you can compare it still with other startup villages. So that is not a futuristic idea to create a startup village. So you can look to the startup villages before how do they did it in the past.
Are there any?
Yeah, the same question.
Are there any? Did you look at some kind of examples?
I want to, yes, this good experience about existing startup village. Where is it?
It's, how do you say it in California? The IT startup village in California. MIT? No, not MIT. It's where Apple is, Meta, and Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley is the most famous example.
In Europe?
Nope.
We will be the first ones.
Yeah, but I think it's all about investing, and it's all about globalization and stock-listed companies, so you don't have to invite the fire again. You know what I mean? It will be not so It will be challenging, but you don't invent the wheel or the circle new. So I think it's like comparing with people who did it before, so you can learn something from that. And it's all and we are at that point again, like my colleague said, it's networking between the startup villages and over the borders of Europe.
Okay, thank you. Yes, indeed, we should look also to some American experience, and I believe that we can take something from there. Last question from my side, and then the host said that we can go to the feedback part. My question's about the municipality. You presented the slide about the municipalities. Of course, municipalities, the partner, very interested in the existence of such startup villages in their territory because that's actually related to the development of the territory. What are the 3 things municipality should invest in this kind of startup village?
So what is the most important 3 things? If it's
the municipality should invest or to be part or to ensure for the village to work?
I think the most important for searching investors and founding incubators and make a strong majority, so major power in the city or a village. And after that, we can search inventors, and these inventions we drop out to the market space.
That third would also meant like the responsibility of a municipality. You mentioned searching for inventors.
So
that should also be, from
yes,
your
yes.
point of view, the responsibility of municipality. Okay, so Juris, we can turn to the feedback, but maybe you want to mention something.
To add maybe something, yeah? No?
Just the thing about the galaxies, look at the layers, they are just perfect. Each one has its role. It's not coincidence. There is a certain way they are going around the sun, and each one is as close as necessary to the sun. So education is really the key. And also one of the last slides where we showed that there is not only one galaxy. Think outside your galaxy, there is another one, and another one, and another one. Think about cooperation, and you will find resources, what you are missing, not to fall down. and you will benefit, just like this week, I could just sit with my Latvian colleagues and think about this task, but we had an international group, and I'm proud of the work you did. Thank you very much. And thank you for a challenge.
Okay. About the before the feedback, I know you had some kind of fight in the not the fight, but you was a discussion or disagreement on opinions. What was it about?
I don't know what you're talking about. Was everything fine? No challenging. Everything went perfect.
While you drive to the Estonia, you are divided in 2 groups, and then something I heard you had some kind of no? You don't want to discover? Okay.
Can I just? Well, it's normal.
Sure.
From a group that has different perspectives about a lot of things, because we come from different countries with different life experience, that we agree and disagree sometimes, but I think we actually were a very nice group to work, because we aligned our ideas and we had space to hear everyone's opinion about it, and it was really nice to work with you guys. I just wanted to add that.
Yes, if you had these discussions, it's really okay. It means you care, and this work is done like carefully. Just I want to know in which part you had the most hardest part to agree on. Which was the hardest part?
We had, I remember one challenge, I would guess, because I think from my point of view, sometimes it was my task to put the finger in the wound and look how the reaction is. It's like a stress test during our project. So we challenged each other. What is your idea? Is it really good? What could be the advantages and disadvantages? And yeah, we thought about the galaxy system, about the structure, and about priorities. And there we have different point of views. But in the end, we are very happy with the solution.
Okay. About the feedback. First of all, maybe the bad one, sorry. I think in this model, I don't really know how exactly it would work, but it's missing maybe the gamification thing that was in like my first given model a bit, and yeah, that's the first thing I I think. Then, of course, this financing model you showed, it's quite complicated. And one thing, maybe if you told that this village must be accessible for everyone, but at the same time, the village takes some parts or stocks from the companies are there, that it's not for free. Like still, it takes something, and. Maybe this business model was quite complicated, just as for village where a lot of involved these members are. I don't know. I need to check it out a bit more. But still, if it's for free, then why would I give some stocks as a company to the leading place, the incubator or whatever it will lead this?
But
it's like feedback, and we can discuss about. No, I think it's a bit. Maybe it's what's too. We can talk about it a bit after. Maybe you have something, to add about the feedback on this one.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm impressed. I like it. I have already some ideas written down what we can think. I think that you mentioned almost all the, of course, parts or functions that should be on place for the integral ecosystem to work. I'm doubtful about this education campus if we are talking about the rural areas, because it's functioning very well in urban areas in the cities, but in rural areas this education system is more like split out specifically if we are talking about the primary education and so on, but still the concept as such, I love it. We should think how it could work in the villages or the rural areas with the big territories, a small number of people living there, and so on. That I could say. Also, what I missed a little bit here, that our emphasis or the target was to set more startups in the region. So you talked about entrepreneurs as an existing already force for that. That's the specific targeting, how we can create the startups. You mentioned all the things we need for creation those startups, because it is education, it is municipality, it is incubators. I would expect, and maybe if we will have some kind of possibility to cooperate also in future to think about this management model, because it's the challenge for us how this system could be managed, because networking is very nice, but how to network? How to network in a most effective way, who will lead that networking, and who will pay for that? That's from my perspective, but thank you very much. I can clearly see the importance of the galaxies, how close they are. Maybe sometimes we need to go to relaxation areas more often, and it should be more closely, but whenever, thank you very much. From my perspective, there is ideas what we can take from this session and from your work, and thank you for the efforts.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Liga, Yuri. It was a hard job to stand here. Now I'd like to open a discussion part where everyone who has questions, and maybe you can give some feedback to your feedback. Please, are there any questions from your mentors, from Rui? Maybe you can give your insights, how it was, please. Yes, of course. We want to see our heroes.
Okay, first of all, for me it was the worst working with them. No, I'm lying. It was a fantastic journey because, like I said previously, I love to work with talented people, and they are very, very, very talented. So they I guess the outcome of this was not easy, because this is still a very open subject. What is Startup Village? So, I guess not even EU knows about it. So they grab it on the concepts, and they start to ask questions like, why not? So why not, like Marius was saying about education? Why not being like that? Or about the involving all the startup village not being just something that it's connecting dots, but creating things or environment that is very important for startups to attract. So they work on the matter very well. So congratulations, guys. You were. It was very pleasure to work with them. So my feedback is this: it's not easy to work with this kind of group, but kind of subjects. So they are very different. They met on Monday or on Sunday, but I guess first of all the conditions were fantastic. So thank you to VIA and to the organization of iResidences, because without good conditions they could not be so creative as they were. So the mentors and the stakeholders, every input that everything was by them. So they had all the conditions to do a fantastic work. And so I think I shut up now because I think.
Thank you, Rui. It's really nice to hear. It's really, I think everyone had something to learn, something new about really working so intense, so as Rui already said, on such a short time frame to get to something common without big fights, without getting somebody's head ripped off. And I think we also had our learnings. We also did some in the background. I hope you didn't see many of our failures and then restarts and then. Yeah, so we also did some learnings, and we all come out as now a new team, new acquaintances, and I hope we are going to work together as well. And thank you very much for your challenge. Thank you to Incubator, Yuri. Thank you, Liga from agency. Thank you, Rui. Thank you, Rene. Again, thank you, Iveta, for giving us the opportunity to be here. And with this, I would like you, Lisa, to say final words.
You already said everything. So yeah, I think I can only agree. It was a really nice week. You just met on Monday. Today is Friday, and you came up with a concept. It was not always easy, but I think we all learned something from it. I'm really proud. I really had a fun week, and I hope you also enjoyed it. You learned something, and you made maybe connections for the future as well. Yeah, so I can also just join Alvis in thanking our stakeholders, our mentors, the organizers, well, us. And I heard that there is some cake for us now to celebrate, so yay!